All right, welcome back to another Honcast.com presentation on Breaky CPK. Once again, going to be your shoutcasting host, and joining me once again is Phil the Thrill, the Honcast staff, and this is the Game Replay Season 3, Tournament 2, Grand Finale here. We have Fnatic MSI versus INFS. Now, INFS, you might recognize a lot of their player names. Formerly a semi-remake of Clan LAO back in the day, Lane something. Anyways, LAO, they were a pretty legit
Lanes
team.
are obvious.
Lane, that's right. I knew something to do with lanes. Lanes are obvious, but yeah, so a very, very legit team. They definitely high on the ladder, especially in the European section, well respected. But they kind of fell apart, and things happen. But now here they're kind of back. They also got a Mingo playing for them, obviously from the U.S. scene, but a solid player in himself. So definitely a team to reckon with, no doubt. And to show that, they actually defeated EG in the semifinals last round. Holy crap! We unfortunately didn't cast that game. We actually do plan on casting it tomorrow for our daily cast, going back to it. Even though we know the outcome, heard it was a hell of a game, and that's quite the upset there. So congrats to INFS, and with that said, you got to expect they're going to give MSI a run for their money here in the finals. But like I said, we're joined by Phil. How you doing, Phil?
I'm doing pretty well. Glad to be finishing off this amazing day of casting. I wasn't sure how many games I was going to be able to get in, but I'm glad that I was able to get basically all the games in that we looked at. And yeah, I mean, I'm really looking forward to this one. INFS, not a team that a whole lot of people know anything about, to be quite honest, at least as far as most of us are concerned. Obviously you mentioned we do see people like Aston L Pillows came over from LAO, Amingo, formerly from T7H a long time ago, and then Captain Boner from UNZ did not follow them when they went into to UMadbra or to Druid. So picking up a very solid support player in Captain Boner, but they have individually skilled wise, they have very, very good players. And obviously, we mentioned that they beat EG, and I think they beat SK as well, if I'm correct, to get to this point. So
yeah,
they definitely made it through the gauntlet. And now they're going to be going up against Fnatic MSI. So, a win here would be absolutely phenomenal. Talk about a Cinderella-type story.
Yeah, I mean, going back to that, again, as you said, they beat SK actually in the quarterfinals, and then they even beat Wallin in the first-round matchup. I mean, that's definitely a solid matchup there itself. So, a very, very tough road for INFS, no doubt. And even if they lose here, though, it already has been kind of a Cinderella story, as you like to say. But a win here would no doubt be icing on the cake, and that would be awesome to watch and witness. But we are going to see what happens. MSI, of course, a very solid team themselves, a sound team that practices, and they definitely are very competitive, the number one team in the world right now, as they've proven that really over the last week or so. And they definitely are going to be a tough challenge for INFS, a big step in the road for them, preventing them from truly getting that. But the picks have already started, so of course, let's talk about the bans. As far as the bans are concerned, we have Soul Stealer, Bombardier, Dr. Repulsor, Thunderbringer, Witch Slayer, and Gladiator. So, again, several of these are player-type bans, obviously starting with Gladiator. Thunderbringer as well to an extent, although a very powerful hero. No-Tell definitely has quite the reputation in terms of playing him awesome-like. And, in fact, I'm looking through the bans. So, actually, MSI is the ones that ban Thunderbringer, though, so they just don't want to have to deal with that hero in general. Obviously, a good counter to trialing strategies, considered that at least. So, but yeah, other bands, I mean, nothing really too much to talk about, but as always, your thoughts on the bands here, Phil?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. There is just not a whole lot to talk about. We see, obviously, the Bombardier and bands going and Soul Stealer going towards No Tail. Perhaps they could, just the very powerful heroes that are being banned here, and there's no real reason to go over too many of them. Witch Slayer is a hero that we have not seen banned as much recently, or Thunderbringer especially. So those two kind of stand out. Obviously, the Gladiator against Fnatic MSI makes sense. But yeah, the Thunderbringer is the only one that really stands out to me because we just have not seen him either picked or banned recently, although for a while he was really like a tri-lane destroyer. But, I guess we'll have to see what heroes, get selected here, because as we like to say, a lot of powerful heroes left on the board.
Well, yeah, I mean, about the Thunderbringer as well, it kind of seems like Bombardier has almost replaced him as being that very powerful solo mid hero, and we see him as a much, much more ban-worthy hero. And, of course, you know, he kind of has that same potential where if he gets those crazy levels, I mean, he puts out a lot of magic damage, a lot of burst-style magic damage even. And it's just, you know, you can consider him to be the same role in a Thunderbringer where he's very good against those tri-lanes because they're so underleveled. So that could be the reason for that. But in the end, I mean, if we see him, Thunderbringer, and even Soul Stealer banned, and hell, even Dr. Repulsor. So 4 very valuable, very powerful solo mid heroes for them banned. But of course, there are other ones on the board, and we'll see how that works out in itself. But picks already finished over there on the Legion side for INFS. A couple of standout picks, but their lineup looks like Pharaoh, Arachna, Voodoo Jester, Andromeda, and Meraxis. So they do have the potential to run a tri-lane, but curious if that's what they plan on doing. We have seen the tri-lane Meraxis before. MSI ran it about a week ago in the same Game Replay Finals, however, against EG. So, and it did work very, very well for them. Curious to see if INFS, they're going to go for that style of strategy, and to see if they execute that. That would, of course, leave Arachnid solo mid, being played by Astonol, and then Icekill on Pharaoh going to be in the long lane, more than likely, if that's what they choose to do with the lanes. But they definitely have options. Curious to see how it plays out. But in terms of their team makeup as a whole throughout the whole game, it's been a while since, honestly, we've seen an Arachna carry, but she definitely is a very powerful carry hero, an excellent early ganker hero as well. One of those carries that can really move around and set up a lot of kills early on with their ultimate especially. And yeah, they have a mix of everything. They don't necessarily have the obvious team fight or pure gank, but you know, they got a mix of things, which I think that's what really makes me like this team over here.
Yeah, I mean, I can't agree with you anymore on that. I mean, the Meraxis lineup, you know, if they decide to run that tri-lane, it's just a lot of good stun and being able to be there, you know, support each other relatively well in lane. You talk about Arachna, who's a hero that we haven't seen a lot recently. She does have good, you know, decent carry potential. You talk about mixing auras with Andromeda and Arachna. It looks, you know, adds up to some pretty solid base damage. And, you know, Pharaoh is just an excellent all-around initiator that doesn't require anything else besides a few levels and some items. So, you know, wouldn't be surprised to see him take the middle lane, perhaps, or more likely see him solo the easy lane, you know, against a couple heroes, since he's good at running like a 2 against a 2 versus 1 or even 1v3 at some points. So, yeah, we'll just have to see what they decide to go with it. But a very good all-around lineup from INFS. You want to sync up, by the way?
Yeah, I was going to say let's do that real quickly. I'm going by in-game counter. I'm at 45, 44, 43, 42, 41, 40, 39, 38, 37, 36, 35, 34, 33, 32, 31.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, Legion
like
team.
15 seconds behind.
Yeah, it's the loading in the beginning. It's unfortunate, but get over it in the beginning, and then the rest of this should be good. But yeah, Legion team, looking forward, of course, to the Meraxis, and in fact, it does look like they are running that Meraxis trial lane. They sent it to the long lane, actually. It's going to be with Andromeda and Voodoo Jester, so a very aggressive trial lane. I think, though, that they were banking on having the Madman lane top, because something tells me they really want that tri lane to go up against the tri lane of Fnatic MSI. And so now that isn't the case, I'm really curious to see if INFS looks to switch it up right away, because, I mean, Meraxis getting a good farm early on will be nice, yeah, but I don't think that, like I said, is ultimately their goal. They definitely are looking to stop this Madman, who is the carry on MSI's lineup. And speaking of that, let's go over it real quickly. We got Hellbringer, Glacius, Slither, Demented Shaman, and Madman. So once again, No-Tail going to be playing Demented Shaman solo mid. It seems like to be a new flavor of the month for him, at least, but he's going to be in a lot of trouble once again. Out comes the Commissar on the Acid Cocktail, and absolute death right there for Demented Shaman. Just no time whatsoever to react to that. Very good play from INFS. Excellent start for them. Great movement right off the bat. We did see Hellbringer and Glacius coming over as well to set up a gank on Arachna, and in fact, they may look to get some revenge right here. So they do not have a stun, though. That's the difference right here, obviously, especially Demented Shaman. Obviously, he needs to be level 3 for a stun, but he has his healing wave first anyways. But yeah, Arachna reacting to it right away, and not going to be in any trouble. Andromeda also taking some damage as she decided to come in. So the gank attempt from MSI, unfortunately, not as as well executed, I guess you could say. But, yeah, MSI's lineup, though, they're going with a tri-lane Madman, at least to start, but we do see some roaming now because of how the lanes are set up, I guess. But, you know, the Slither solo, it's always dangerous to see Trixie on Slither. Definitely someone to, although we're not used to seeing Slither perhaps play, you know, kind of that carry-style role, but honestly, the way Trixie plays it, that's definitely, at the very least, a semi-carry hero, and to an extent, you know, can be considered a carry hero the way he plays it, at least, and the way he can definitely take over games with it. So, very powerful lineup, but a little bit of different lineup here from MSI, but as we talked about last game, they're kings at innovation, and I'm sure they're going to be just fine.
Well, the thing that we're not used to seeing Trixie do is play in a 2 versus 1 type situation, which is what INFS is forced on Fnatic MSI. We see actually Glacius and Hellbringer are making their way behind Pharaoh, so he's going to be real careful here. We're going to see the Thunder Blast come out as well as Death Boil gone to Pharaoh. Pharaoh trying to make his, or just survive. Tonko is out, going to throw the mummies up as well. He'll most likely be going down. It's just a matter of who's going to get the kill here. It ends up going to be going to Hellbringer. So the Smackdown kill going to Hellbringer right there. So good job surviving as long as possible with Pharaoh. Just trying to get as much experience as possible in this this basically what will probably end up being like a 3v1 or you know, sometimes a 2v1, sometimes a 3v1, sometimes a 1v1 type lane. I guarantee we'll see a lot more roaming from Glacius and Hellbringer throughout the game. Andromeda doing a little bit of counter warding right here and getting caught out here by Glacius. He needs to be careful. Death Boil could be enough to take him down. There goes Death Boil right there. Unfortunately, the Tundra Blast was already used, so it's not like they can use it to get a little more auto attacks on him. We'll see if they decide to turn around here. Andromeda does turn around as Death Boil comes off of her and Pharaoh comes to support, but not really much going on there. As far as the rest of MSI is concerned, though, I mean, it's a very different setup than they ran or they've been running with the Gladiator tri-lane, which makes me think that it may not be as effective having this Demented Shaman solo in the middle because they don't have like that just one really supernatural tanky hero to rely on. Speaking of Demented Shaman being blocked here by Andromeda, good support there from Glacius, and that'll be the end of Andromeda as the heal basically takes him, you know, melts him to the ground. I mean, it's like I was saying before, you have the ability to deal up to, you know, he's only got one level in the healing wave, which is 180 times 3, so what is that, 360? Or I'm sorry, not 360, but 400
it's 80.
Something, 520, I don't even know.
180 is the radius, it's 80 damage.
Oh, 80 damage. Oh, you're right. So what is that, 240 then? So 240 damage there. I mean, you know, that's something that is really, really effective early on in the game, especially against a hero like Andromeda.
Oh, yeah, I mean, we just saw it right there. That was just ridiculous how Andromeda thought she was having good position, but that's something you got to keep in mind when you're going up against a Demented Shaman. If you have creeps around you and he starts to surround you like that, you know he's doing it for a reason. Meanwhile, at the top lane, dropping his Slither, that curse is going to be too much. He will be going down, running away, but of course he gets taken out by the curse damage. However, the ward's doing a lot of damage on Captain Boner right here on Voodoo Jester. He's going to barely be able to get away, but those wards being spammed by Slither and doing quite a bit of harassment, as he, of course, has level 3 of them now, being level 5 himself. But INFS currently has the 2-to-1 hero kill advantage early on in this game, and so far, not doing too bad of a job. I mean, as far as the roaming goes and everything, again, not doing too bad. Andromeda's been spending a lot of time here in the middle lane supporting this Arachna the best she can. No doubt realizes that Arachna is going to be the go-to farmer, and it seems like INFS, they've pretty much adapted, actually, into a 2-2-1 strategy. You know, again, I still believe that in the beginning they wanted to match themselves up against the Madman tri-lane, but because of where the Madman tri-lane went to the bottom instead, that wasn't the case. So now they're just instead of completely adjusting to it, they just figure why not just run a 2-2-1. But Trixie on Slither, I mean, you talked about this earlier. We more so when he plays it like this, you do see him play a 1 versus 1 situation, not rarely a 1 versus 2, but he's doing an excellent job nonetheless. Again, just using those wards like he should be, and just really spamming them and causing a lot of harassment on the Legion players. In the meantime, Glacius and Andromeda going at it, really on the ledge right there, kind of just having some back and forth fun, but nothing too much going to come of it. But you look at the middle lane matchup, Arachna currently at a 15-9 creep score, whereas Demented Shaman at 17-9, so actually very even back and forth right there. I mean, the one death early on in Demented Shaman definitely hurting them, but as far as the creep farm goes, doing fine, and as far as levels go, pretty much identical. In fact, Demented Shaman leading a little bit in levels, and you do see the pressure that he's able to put out, already causing issues to this Arachna. Arachna will be level 6 shortly, though, and that's where, of course, you need to keep that in mind, because if she throws out that ultimate and just starts auto-attacking you, it can be a quick death for you if you don't have support or your Homecoming Stone on you. So, but ultimately, though, Madman, as we talked about earlier as well, he is the focus right now for Fnatic, MSI, and Fresh Pro, as always, doing an awesome job on him. 310 gold per minute with his 34-5 creep farm. Very, very good farm. You compare that to Moraxis at the top lane, only a 17-6. So really, kind of mirror situations there with 2 versus 1s, but the Slither by Trixie play is just phenomenal right now, and really preventing any strong farm on a Mingo playing this Moraxis, and ultimately even pushing them back to their tower.
Yeah, take a look at Arachna's skill build. Also something a little bit unique, going for 1-1-1 and then 2 into attribute bonus right now. So, giving her a little more health to work with, a little more damage. Looks like Andromeda, it hasn't been taking Dimensional Link yet, so they don't have to worry about it. Speaking of Arachna, there's the ultimate on Demented Shaman, and he'll be taken out. And a good thing about having Arachna here on this team is that, you talk about Madman, a hero that really excels in his ability to get in there and get out. Arachna is going to be a very good counter to that Madman. Using the ultimate to both maintain sight of him as well as slow him down, not help him allow to use that stalk ability for that easy escape. So they do have some pretty solid counters here to Fnatic MSI's lineups, and it shows. They actually picked up another kill up on Trixie at the top lane, and already, while INFS may not be necessarily in the lead here, they certainly are much further ahead than a lot of MSI's other competitors have been at this point in the game, even though it's so early.
Oh yeah, no doubt they are doing better. Again, though, we don't see the Gladiator trial lane from MSI, so you kind of take that away from it. But at the same time, yeah, INFS, not to take anything away from them. They are doing a phenomenal job and a good job themselves early on, like you suggested. But still, MSI, they do have the advantage. That farm on Madman is ultimately what is pulling them ahead at this point. And he is going to be a huge factor. Right now, this Legion team, they're pretty much have Arachna to compare to him. And although Arachna's ultimate is obviously useful against Madman with his stock ability, MSI, they're going to be really on top of destroying that ultimate, especially in those team fights. So Arachna's ultimate, it's going to be somewhat useful, but at the same time, it really isn't going to be that great of an ability in those team fights. It's going to be pure for ganking. In fact, he's trying to use it right here on the Demented Shaman, but Hellbringer comes in at a perfect time. He turns him around, and just like I was talking about, they immediately start focusing the ultimate, and they take it out. However, Andromeda comes in here, and they're actually going to get the kill on Hellbringer. Well played on their part. Demented Shaman now, he gets Andromeda down to half life with the healing wave, but now he needs to worry about getting away. He has a Superman escape, not using it just yet, though. Trying to use his bottle charges the right way, and no, it's not going to be enough. Andromeda finishes him off, and Arachna just stays back. A double tap kill coming out for Pillows right there. So that ended up working out very, very well for INFS. So now they're up 6-2 in hero kills, and again, they are off to a good start, especially when you look at that stat. Looking actually pretty good, but you always have to be worried, just like with the Gladiator trial lane. It happens to be in this case now the Madman, being played by Fresh Pro, of course. His farm is really up there. He's now at 310 gold per minute. He's already finished his sustainer to go with his Little Red Booties, as well as his Blood Chalice. And Pharaoh's been doing a decent job of harassing, sure, with that Tormented Soul, now level 3, of course, and also getting an okay creep farm. But yeah, Madman is ultimately really just getting a very, very powerful farm that the Legion team will have to react to. So we still have yet to see either team kind of go away from the laning phase. We're now just over the 10-minute mark. Both teams kind of still staying in there. Moraxis is playing very aggressive here, but sees Glacius nearby, as well as, again, those wards from Trixie just all placed out. And the second you start running past him, you just start taking those little bits of damage, and sure enough, pretty much force you to turn around. Arachna, by the way, came to the bottom lane. Looked like she wanted to set up a gank onto Madman, but he is very quick to stalk away and get out of there before danger ensues. But yeah, if Arachna can catch Madman by himself like that, no doubt she can get a kill. So that's really what INFS is kind of looking for right now. Unfortunately, that one did not go through right there.
Yeah, and I mean, you make a good point about Madman and his really solid farm, but at the same time, you also have to think about what kind of role Trixie usually plays in these games, and not having that early farm that he's used to having could definitely have a very big effect on this game. We see Miraxis actually taking the majority of farm up here at the top lane. He's doesn't have any kills, as actually it looks like Captain Boner on Voodoo Jester has picked that both of those up, but he is still farming around 250 gold per minute. Meanwhile, Trixie, he just now crossed the 200 gold per minute mark, and it is not where they're usually used to having at Trixie at right now. And if they can keep him relatively low on the early farm scale, if they can keep him from getting like a Helm of the Black Legion before, I'll say, the 20-minute mark, they can actually put themselves in a really good position despite having Madman have that good early farm.
Yeah, I mean, that is true. It's definitely MSI, they have to have a good support around him, and if, like you said, if Slither isn't able to get that early home in the Black Legion, then maybe the Legion team can make a push as a result of that. I mean, it is INFS again. I don't want to make it seem like the MSI is still like they're just ultimately winning this game, because really it is a very back and forth game right now. It is very, very even. Let's go ahead and fast forward through this pause, by the way. We do have some players timing out, so might as well fast forward through it and get back to it as soon as possible, as it looks like it was a fairly long pause. Alright, so he's reconnected. Okay. Just get to 21:15, and then we'll go from there.
Ready when you are.
Alright, 3, 2, 1, go. 16, 17, 18. Okay. Alright. Okay, so yeah, but INFS, they are doing a really good job and definitely showing signs of why perhaps they beat EG. I mean, because they are executing very sound right now. In fact, they're looking to set up a kill on a Slither right here. Out comes the ultimate from Voodoo Jester with that cursed ground on him. Depending on what level it is, it's level 3, so yeah, that should be enough for the kill right there. Slither going to start dropping fast. One more tick should do it, and indeed, Slither goes down. So great job right there from the Legion team. Exactly what I was saying. They're doing a great job of executing right now, and that's a lot of pressure up top there, and sure enough, they're able to get a kill on a Slither. Now, meanwhile, in the middle lane, Dimension Shaman dropping fast, throws out the ultimate, throws out a healing wave, trying to make something happen, buy some time for Madman to get there. Not long enough, though. So an 8-2 hero kill advantage now, and Arachna has 3 hero kills on her 2 assists, and she is looking at a 300 gold per minute herself. So she's actually pretty much on par with Madman, a very slight edge in favor of Madman, but pretty much on par. So, going back to the whole Madman discussion, if Arachna can keep up, honestly, INFS really isn't in the worst spot at all. So this is definitely turning out to be a very, very good game. Again, I know a lot of people, including myself, as I said in the last match, we expected it to be once again the EG versus MSI, but INFS kind of coming out of nowhere here, and definitely showing that they belong here in the finals to compete against Fnatic MSI and really making it a game. It honestly is, the toughest time MSI seem to have in the early game stage, at least, that we've seen in a while. So a lot of credit to INFS right now. But again, with that said, this game is still a very back and forth game, very even game, and honestly, of course, either team's game at this point. But unfortunately, we're still seeing more of it. We're still seeing the laning phase. Neither side really showing, to go crazy push or crazy, power play in terms of heavy ganks, but we still are getting a bit of action. In fact, Feral charged in that action. Oh, what was that? A misclick of the ultimate or something? A completely wrong direction right there, and he's going to end up getting taken out by Madman. And now Voodoo Jester might be in a little bit of trouble, but he does have that acid cocktail and gets some help from the Purge creeps as well. And sure enough, gets a kill. And Andromeda kind of running in here as well. Puts a stun onto Hellbringer. Actually swaps Hellbringer though as soon as Madman stalks in. They're going to get the kill on Hellbringer. Now can he save Madman right here? Out comes the ultimate. No, Madman's going to stalk away. He may even look to open right back on top of Voodoo Jester. Look at Voodoo Jester. He's sitting there with the ultimate activated, but now he's going to start dropping. Here comes Arachna though. The ultimate comes out, and Madman got baited right there. Can he get away from this? He's trying to stalk away. That taunt is up. Will it go through? Yes, it will. Asinal picks up the smackdown kill, and they get another hero kill right there. So that was a huge kill. Excellent bait right there. And now an 11-4 hero kill advantage for INFS.
Yeah, and I mean, we did see, the fact that just because the ultimate is on Madman from Arachna, that he does still have a little bit of escape mechanism. But really, the thing that turned that team fight around down at the bottom was at the beginning we saw Voodoo Jester spotted Hellbringer coming through and threw the acid cocktail out on him. Unfortunately, he was kind of in a bad position and waited a little bit too long. Actually now here at the middle lane, and Shaman is in a lot of trouble. Using that heal, trying to keep himself alive, but it's not going to be enough as Astonel is now legendary on that Arachnid. Mage uses a completely tower dive. Oh, he sees the TP coming in, so he's going to have to back off here as now Fresh Pro makes his way back in on that Madman, trying to maybe put the barrel roll out. No, going to choose not to do so. You know, smart move on their part right there. He's not there's Andromeda, and that's going to be that for him. The ultimate is still on cooldown for Arachna, however. But back to what I was saying is, actually, from Pharaoh going
what a catch!
Picks off a kill there. So what a great catch there by Pharaoh. I mean, now can I talk about it, guys? Okay. So, you know, he landed it as a cocktail, but actually missed the cursed ground because he was a little bit too far away, and it was unfortunate. As speaking of cursed ground, Voodoo Jester gets taken down out at the bottom lane, so they're going to pick up the kill there with the assistance of Madman, and then they just got into a bad situation, and you saw obviously Pharaoh missed the ultimate right there, which would have for sure you know, been the death of at least Hellbringer in that situation, but enabled him to escape, and then that led up to a couple kills in favor of the Hellborn team. So you can just see in these kind of games how how big even the smallest mistake can really be, what kind of outcome it can have.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, this really is just it is a fantastic game to watch right now because both teams, they are playing very, very sound, and to see a team like INFS kind of come out of nowhere and really making a huge competition to this Hellborn side. Glacius gets swapped right there. He freezes himself, hoping to absorb enough damage. Not going to be enough. Andromeda being stalked down, and yes, Madman should pick up the kill right here. Oh, Andromeda actually almost got out of there with the juke, but it just wasn't enough. And instead, Madman picks it up, and now looks like actually Arachna in a little bit of trouble. The Life Void's put up. There's a dot. There's a slow use in his Hardened Carapace. And now here comes the Malphus ultimate as well. But Feral, more axes, and Voodoo Jester all jump in. And Hellbringer absolutely gets disintegrated right there. Malphus is also going to drop. What a turnaround right there from the Legion team. And, of course, Madman, the smart play right there. He got out of there as soon as he saw the sports coming in. That's what he should have done. So a good getaway, but also an excellent counter kill right there from the Legion side. Madman still hanging on nearby, just throwing out some barrel rolls for some creep kills and harass. But we've got a solid push coming here from the Legion team now. Speaking of more axes, by the way, he has his helm in the Black Legion already with his little red booties and also that Mystic Vestment. So he's getting fairly tanky early on in this game. Definitely what you would expect. Also, you expect, Feral to kind of get that same route as well. And this Legion team, they're going to have some awesome initiators and heroes that can absorb a lot of damage. So that will be, of course, useful as it usually is. Malphus gets destroyed down here as he was trying to help push this bottom lane with the Slither, but in the meantime, the top lane actually gets pushed down, and despite no Hellborn hero being there in Arachna and Andromeda there, they were not able to deny the tower. That's unfortunate for them, but a good creep push at least there for the Hellborn side. More access in the meantime. He's actually going to run away right now as Madman, he just finished his Blood Chalice actually. Speaking of Madman, by the way, definitely a worthy discussion was going that Sustainer. I mean, you always do question whether or not it's going to be a Runed Axe or a Nullstone. There's several reasons to get a Nullstone against this Legion team. So, I'm not necessarily surprised or shocked that he's going for a Runed Axe, but it is something to think about. And obviously against the Arachna Ultimate, the Andromeda swap, two of the big ones at least. I mean, those are very big abilities that you could definitely, having that Nullstone would be effective against. So, yeah, but again, he is going the Runed Axe, so again, nothing by no means like, oh my god, what is he thinking? But it is definitely something worth bringing up. And we'll see if perhaps he does look to go for it in the future.
Yeah, one thing I also wanted to point out during that last little skirmish that happened up at the middle lane was real good play by Astonel. You were saving that Hardened Carapace until the last second, where he was able to dispel all buffs. Not just the Death Boil, but also the Life Void. Which did not allow Hellbringer to heal up like he may normally have done. Actually down here at the bottom may ensue as Madman is going to use the barrel roll on Meraxis and then choose to stalk away. Good support there for Andromeda, trying to make something happen. Diminished Shaman might be in a little bit of trouble. There's the ultimate from Voodoo Jester coming out, but he'll be taken out as well. Hellbringer may be in a little bit of trouble. Not sure if Slither's going to be taken out. Diminished Shaman to the ultimate. A missed ultimate there from Pharaoh. I'm sorry, as Madman's going to try to get himself on out of there. Meanwhile, Astonel and Arachna just kind of making her way around, looking for someone to initiate onto. You still have the ultimate available. Going to use it here on Slither. Make sure she gets the kill there. A little bit overkill. Now going on to this Diminished Shaman. Diminished Shaman in a whole lot of trouble. Going to try to pour it out. It will be enough. No, it won't. She's going to be taken out early on. And that's now 8 hero kills in a row for Astonel and 4 assists. Currently sitting at 370 gold per minute. So currently the top farmer in the game. Already 1,500 gold saved up. Looking at her items.
Very nice.
Firebrand. So we could be looking at her picking up a very early Geometer's Bane, or she may choose to finish off the Whispering Helm that she looks like she's working on. Already picked up the Helm of the Victim over there. We really haven't taken a look at any of the other hero item pickups, however. Pharaoh currently has got his Blood Chalice, and that's really about it. Steam Boots as well. We just talked about Arachna. Andromeda has some Striders, kind of been doing the ward thing. Meraxis has the Helm of the Black Legion as well as some Mystic Vestments and some Little Red Booties. I'm interested to see if he decides to, but he's already got money for the Portal Key, so I'm interested to see if he decides to pick up the Portal Key or instead go for something, or to finish off the Shaman's Headdress. We'll see what he goes for. He's already back at base now. Picking up a Portal Key now would be amazing. Yep, and that's what he decides to go for. So 20 minutes having the Mystic Vestments, Helm of the Black Legion, and a Portal Key, put yourself in a really good position, similar to as we were talking about with Legionnaire during that last little fun cast that I just did. Having that kind of mobility early on, put yourself and your team in a really good situation. Looking over here at the Hellborn side, just some Steam Boots picked up on Hellbringer. Glacius has Steam Boots as well, also doing the ward thing. Slither just Steam Boots, Diminished Shaman Steam Boots, and a Blood Chalice and a Ring of the Teacher, and then Steam Boots and Ruined Axe finished on Madman. So Steam Boots all around over here on the Hellborn team. But that's really it, as we see Slither taken out yet again, and Champion of News already on Arachna. So Aston L and INFS out to a very, very early start. Meanwhile, the top lane, we saw Madman get taken out. Oh, no, sorry, not Madman, but Andromeda get taken out by Madman.
Yeah, that was...
and I'm getting event bombed, so hold on.
Great play by them right there, as, Arachna came in with the Invisor and good support from Pharaoh. We do see that Whispering Helm on him, but Arachna might be in a lot of trouble right here. Out comes Malphus ultimate, and he's going to try to pour it out. Do they have another stun? They do not, I believe, and actually, wow, he is going to get out, and thank God Slither was not there with toxicity, as, of course, he's going to regen right back up in the well, so an excellent getaway for him, and what should have been probably a death, but the Hellborn team just did not have enough damage or enough stuns. In the meantime, Madman, he has finished his Rune Dax, of course, using it right there to farm the middle lane. So in terms of push, obviously this Hellborn team, no doubt a big advantage there, but this is a problem. I mean, when you're up 3 tower kills to nothing and you're still not managing to have the gold lead in terms of team gold, I mean, albeit it is it's practically even, but still, even at that, you would expect to have somewhat of a gold advantage, 5,000, 6,000 gold lead. That isn't the case, though. I mean, again, just awesome ganks, great hero kills from INFS right now, currently leading 20-9 in hero kills, as well as a phenomenal farm from Arachna at 368 gold per minute, is truly leading victory right now for INFS in terms of this game. Again, I don't mean victory in the sense that they're going to win this game, because it still is a long, long game, and by all means, it's definitely back and forth still once again, but this is still looking really good for INFS. This is looking even better now for INFS. They're going to pick off Dimension Shaman right there, and they should be able to get their first tower kill of the game now here in the middle lane, and there it goes. And I don't think, I believe you did touch on it a little bit, but I want to reiterate it. The aura stacking right now for this Legion team is huge as well. Andromeda is just about, she has level 3 aura, so of course, your next level she will pick up level 4. Arachna, of course, has had her level 4 precision for a while now. By herself, she's hitting for 178 max damage. As soon as Andromeda gets in range, we're going to see how high that jumps. It jumps up to 212, so as long as Andromeda is nearby, she gets both of those buffs, and it jumps all the way up to 212 max damage at this point. She is hitting really, really hard, as we see her actually take control of an Ice Dugger right there. Very smart pickup. Of course, the buff that the Ice Dugger applies to you is obviously very effective, and especially against a hero like Madman, who relies quite a bit on attack speed and keeping near his opponent. So, very smart play right there by Asinol, and of course he's going to use this to, I'm sure, stack the Ancient Creeps like we usually see. And speaking of Ancients, tanking them out right now. So, Arachna currently has 2,000 gold saved up. You would figure Geometer's being at this point, so going to get the Blessed Orb next with 2,100 gold, and then eventually the Pattern with 500 more gold. So, needs 2,600 gold for both of those, and then so she'll have a Geometer's Bane around 25 minutes or so, and already with that Whispering Helm, I mean, a very fantastic, again, good farm for this Arachna. So MSI, again, they still are in a decent spot because they have that tower push advantage, they have the map advantage, but INFS, they really are doing an excellent job right now, and at least keeping the skill or keeping the gap in terms of very, very even. And really, this is anyone's game.
Yeah, one thing I want to mention, look at these ward placements here for the actual wards of sight for Fnatic MSI. See how aggressive they are. They're really, really far behind enemy lines. You know, they're not looking at any ward spots. They're not looking at basically any kind of protection spots for themselves. They're more or less looking to see when people are going in and out of the base and who's behind these second-tier towers, which is pretty heads-up play when you want to make sure that you're keeping the enemy team basically under wraps and keeping them in check. Meanwhile, they're going to take out Congo here, and the token of life will be picked up by Madman. The gold advantage and experience advantages is not too crazy, and a lot of props there have to go to INFS, as we were talking about before, where they're able to keep the gold advantage despite being down a couple towers. A couple towers difference, I should say. However, they do need a way to address this Madman that's not 100% reliant on basically getting lucky. And actually, action at the top is we see Andromeda and Miraxis finish off that Glacius and pick up the easy kill right there. Now Hellbringer putting himself in a little bit of a bad situation. If he gets caught out here, that could be really a really beneficial pickup for them. They have they're trying to de-ward this, so they have to know that there's at least some wards up there. Meanwhile, this is kind of a situation where you say, like, how do we get a better ability to take out Madman? So Geometer's Bane's been finished on Arachna, so what do you do here to really counter Madman's farm as, he just continues to get more and more strong? He's currently picked up a Blessed Orb to go with his Steam Boost and Runed Axe, so it's going to be interesting to see what he goes for. And we all know Madman, or Fresh Pro and Madman, he's well known for going some kind of insane items, on this hero. So we have to wait and see what it turns into.
Yeah, we are, but in this game, I can't see him going anything other than Norm. But by the way, we have initiation right here. Hellbringer's going to counter with his Malphus. In comes Miraxis as well. The Slither ultimate goes up. We see a kill on Andromeda right there. But look at Madman. He's dropping fast. The token of life, of course, he'll resurrect, but that is huge. They got him to use it, but now Madman is on the chase. Out comes the Acid Cocktail. Miraxis trying to keep him slow. The barrel not going to be enough damage. He misses the second axe right there, and actually the stock will kill Voodoo Jester. In the meantime, Arachna trying to do some damage, actually turning around on this Glacius while tanking the Malphus. And Glacius should be going down. There's a kill. Bloodbath right now for Astonol. He has 11 hero kills without a single death. And now he's chasing this Slither. A smack trick coming out for Fresh Bro, though. The Smackdown King. He gets the smack trick in the process. Here's going to be another kill, perhaps on Trixie, but Arachna going to try to pour it out in time. Yes, he can, barely. Wow, he poured it out just at the last second. Miraxis chases. A quad kill comes out for Fresh Bro. We got the kill on Slither, but at what cost right there? A quad kill for Madman. That was huge. And again, the token of life, it all goes back to that Congo kill some couple of minutes ago. Without that, that fight would have been completely different, and INFS might have been pushing their way to victory right now, but that was not the case. The token of life resurrected him very early in that fight, and they came back, including the quad kill for Madman. So obviously huge right there, and MSI definitely got a large momentum swing. But still, you look at the stats, it's still an experience and a gold lead somehow for INFS. So despite losing that team fight in the end, they're able to stay on the top. And, that was a huge momentum changer, like I said, for Fnatic MSI, as Madman takes a little bit of pressure right there, but easily gets away with the stock ability.
Sorry, I thought you were still done talking because you're kind of lagging. But they've really kept Trixie kind of manageable this game, and I think that's been what the biggest difference is between a lot of the other games we see with Fnatic MSI. As I mentioned earlier, where you talk about, they really rely on Trixie, especially when he's playing Slither, to have that early ability to get in and tank during team fights and get the ultimate out and apply the debuffs to everybody, but he's just not really able to do so as well as he normally is. I mean, he does have his Temple of Black Legion and a Gnome's Wisdom at this point, but it's still it's still a little bit later than he might have normally gone for, and we can see that Gnome's Wisdom is not I mean, we do see him pick up sometimes, but, if he was farming really well, I'm sure that he would have rather have gone for something like the Geometer's Bane, something to give him a little more authority as far as attack power is concerned in these games. The one thing I think we are missing out on, however, is that Miraxis initiation in combination with Pharaoh. We've seen a little bit of, like, the response, you know what I mean, as far as, like, he's very good about the basically following up after Pharaoh. But I think that they need to get a really good Meraxes ult or initiation into ult there at the beginning of team fights, and then start things off like that if they want to win these team fights as they continue on. Madman's farm is very dominant. He's picked up a Geometer's Bane of his own, by the way, and arguably that is kind of a stranger pickup because we don't normally see it on Madman, but it will give him great buffs that he needs. Obviously, the movement speed, attack speed, a huge buff to agility as well as some survivability is going to definitely be very useful for him. Going around the rest of the players. We see the Apprentice row picked up by Andromeda, not really going through too much there. Still just the Geometer's Bane on Arachna. We may see some initiation here, so I'll go ahead and let you take it just in case.
Well, there we go. Pharaoh jumps in. He puts up the Mommy Walls. Out comes the Malphus ultimate once again, though. Merax is trying to do the AoE, but there goes the Slither ultimate coming off. Arachna sitting in the background, just pounding in some damage, but she's also taking a lot of damage herself, focusing on Demented Shaman, but Demented Shaman falling back. Now focusing on that Madman, and Slither goes down, actually, and Madman is also taken out. It looks like the Legion team is going to win that team fight. They come out in numbers 3-2 in favor of INFS, including Arachna, and they are now going to push this secondary tower as well. Hellbringer and Demented Shaman, there isn't much they can do. If they do push up, Arachna will look to target them down. Arachna didn't even use her ultimate last fight. I mean, that is huge right there, knowing that they didn't even need the Arachna ultimate. She's going to choose to save it for a situation like now, and the Hellbringer team, if Demented Shaman or Hellbringer get anywhere nearby, she will use it, and she will get a kill. In fact, she might be going right here. She puts a slow. There's the Arachna ultimate. Good use of that Void Talisman, though. Excellent pickup right there from Hellbringer, and ends up getting away as they take out the ultimate. But they do get the tower kill. That's what really mattered. Arachna's ultimate is such a short cooldown anyway, only 30 seconds, so honestly not a big deal whatsoever. They get the secondary tower kill, and now the middle tower is also very low, and in fact, Demented Shaman, he's just going to go ahead and deny it. So big fight right there for INFS, and they showed if they can get the initiation, especially a good Mummy Wall though from Pharaoh, really scattering the Hellborn team, then they can definitely win those team fights. You also mentioned Moraxis. He definitely brings a large AoE presence. Also showed right there he did die, but it takes a bit to kill him with the Helm of the Black Legion, his second ability, and his Mystic Vestments, Arcane Shield, excuse me. He absorbs a lot of damage, so all the time it takes to kill him. Meanwhile, the rest of their team is doing all that damage on the opposing side, and definitely getting beneficial use out of that. So INFS, again, they continue to look to be in a very good spot right now, and we perhaps have somewhat of an upset in the making here, but we'll have to see how it truly does play out. Madman, though, he's going to turn around right here, and he actually uses the Geometer's Bane, which he just picked up. He focuses down Foodie Jester, gets torn up right there. Merax is using his ultimate, then explodes immediately, but here comes Arachna, and Madman would not dare stay in there. He decides to fall back, knowing that an Arachna ultimate would pretty much screw him. So, Moraxis, by the way, though, using that Arcane Shield, in comes back Madman, trying to finish off Moraxis, and they will do so as Demented Shaman and Slither help with that kill. So it actually just keeps on continuing, by the way. Meanwhile, back here, Pharaoh trying to kill Hellbringer. They actually do kill Hellbringer, but at what cost situation? Can he get away? Yes, he can get away unless the stun happens. No, he's going to be fine, and he ports out. So good kill and getaway right there from the Legion team, but action is just getting really intense here. We're going to have a 31-17 hero kill advantage in favor of INFS at this point. And Arachna, by the way, she picks up a Dancing Blade. I love it. I love the wing bow idea. That'll be huge against this Madman. She throws the ultimate out on a Madman, but Madman now turns around looking to damage the ultimate, taking a lot of damage himself, though. In comes Andromeda. Can he do something here? Slither's starting to run away. The Madman illusions, though, trying to be enough. No, a kill for Arachna. She ends up taking out Madman. Slither came up as well, and Slither's in a lot of trouble. He will more than likely be dropping himself, and down he goes. Wow, good reaction once again from the Legion team. They kept Arachna alive. That was huge. And they get the kill on Madman. Great play from INFS.
Yeah, I mean, it's very impressive. INFS, I think the only part where they need to continue doing what they've been doing is keeping the warding up. That we saw them just drop this ward site here at the kind of the middle lane section of the bottom half is about to go down here. But if they would have had another ward in maybe a more in like a usual spot, they could have definitely spotted those people coming in and maybe avoided the kill on Meraxis and Andromeda. I'm sorry, not Andromeda, but Voodoo Jester earlier on, which could have set them into a really good place for an amazing team fight to come out on top and maybe even get a genocide and look to push into the base towers. However, they are doing a great job though. I mean, nonetheless, and a lot of that is just to this great support that each other has been showing. We just saw right there as utilizing the initiation that they get from both Pharaoh and Meraxis. They are just playing to each other's strengths 100% well, and they did. I don't know. INFS, they are looking very, very strong.
Yeah, it really is amazing. I mean, again, for a team that they are new. I mean, if anything, they're only a few weeks old. It's the first tournament that I've personally seen them in. I don't think they've been too active, and I believe they are really. This might even be their first tournament that they've competed in. And to go from being really an unknown team to all of a sudden competing with Fnatic MSI in the grand finals here, and in a very good spot to actually win this game right now. So this is definitely that Cinderella story that we were talking about. A team that will just come out of nowhere and do something. Oh, this could get interesting, though. Legion team, they're looking to do Kongor, but the Hellborn team, everyone is middle. They are very aware, perhaps, of what's going on, so they're going to start heading down there. Legion team needs to make sure that they do not get caught in a horrible position here. Wingville has been finished on Rackham, by the way. Pharaoh actually initiates right there on the Glacius. Out comes Malphite once again. Glacius goes down. The Slither ultimate comes off, and here we go once again. 12 coming out. Madman dropping low. That's an illusion, though. I don't know what the hell is going on. I see a lot of freaking flames going off all over the place. Players are dying left and right. Arachne actually gets taken out, and the Hellborn team is coming out on top. How about this? Pharaoh's also going to go down, and that will finish off the genocide. Hat trick finished right there for Hellbringer. Oh my god. That was just a huge clusterfuck right there in the middle. Just a huge, immense amount of AoE, and I really think the Life Void from Hellbringer on top of that Malphite really did a lot of that damage there. Of course, Demented Shaman's ultimate as well, I'm sure, was huge, as I'm sure that he used it. I'm guessing it just came off cooldown, but wow, Fnatic MSI dominating that team fight. Whispering Helm just finished on Madman, by the way, and now he has yet another token of life. We saw how big it was last time. I'm sure it's going to be big once again this time. And so when it seems like INFS, they start to pull away somewhat, MSI is not going to let it happen. They come right back in it and now arguably have momentum once again back on their side.
Well, here's something, we take a look at that team fight, just in retrospect. The ultimate from Diminished Shaman came out. The only thing that was in the area was heroes from both teams. So a Diminished Shaman ultimate bounces off the nearest 5 targets. You're going to heal all 5 heroes, and any heroes that are in like the crisscross pattern that the Diminished Shaman Healing Wave has are immediately going to be damaged upwards of, as I said before, upwards of 700 damage. At the same time, we had Hellbringer land a Life Void that basically hit almost all the heroes, and then a Malphite directly after that. So not only did they have the reduced magic armor, but they were all stunned. You talk about the barrel roll that went in there, Slither's poison damage. I mean, that's really just a 100% coordinated team fight from Fnatic MSI. And that's what separates a really great player from just a good player, which is the ability to keep yourself cool during team fights for as long as possible, so that way you can make the right choice when need be. And that's what Fnatic MSI has. They are very cool-headed. They've dealt with pressure on the main stages, like a DreamHack here, two DreamHacks in a row, and now they have arguably the number 1 team in the world right now. That's what really separates MSI from everybody else, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's whatever the reasons are, like you said, whether it's just because of consistency for the roster, their willingness to try new strategies, think of strategies for themselves. I mean, they really just have a true balance right now. And honestly, I've always respected EG for the longest time in terms of how long they've been together and how really powerful their core members are. And I've always thought them in terms of the best team ever in HANA. Definitely the EG team of Sebuska and the B Kid and Fuji Apples. Back some 4 or 5 months ago or whatever, when they really practiced all the time before True even quit in the first place. That was really a very, very powerful team, one of the most dominating. But honestly, with what we've seen these last couple of weeks from Fnatic MSI, I'm definitely second guessing myself when it comes to that. I mean, this team is just really impressive. They've been together long enough now that you can truly call them an actual team in terms of consistency with their roster. Their willingness, like I said, to try different strategies, to really be the innovators, the perfect word you used earlier, in terms of innovators, in terms of creating strategies and then having others follow their strategies as a result of them working so well. I mean, just this Demented Shaman pick alone, I honestly would not be shocked if we see more teams all of a sudden now start using Demented Shaman to solo mid in these high-tier competitive games as a result of it working so well for Fnatic MSI. I mean, we've seen it with the Pandemonium tri-lane. We've seen it with the Gladiator tri-lane. We've seen it with Bombardier middle. We've seen it with Tundra middle. I mean, just so many things that they seem to first, kind of make big, and then all of a sudden everyone else starts to use it. So just a very impressive team. But again, INFS though, even like I said from the very beginning, even if they happen not to win this match, they definitely have come a long, long way, and no doubt they're going to be a respected team throughout the community after such a performance here, and we really look forward to seeing more of them in the future as they get more practice. But as far as this game in itself, once again, this game, honestly, it's still back and forth. It really is still anyone's game. I really am clueless on who is actually going to win this game at this point. Rachna, she's had that wing bow for a while now. Her farm continues to once again be built up. She has 2,500 gold currently saved up at this point. Once again, she could definitely get rid of that power supply at least, and look to buy one more useful item, whether it's something like a Savage Mace, who knows? I mean, we'll have to wait and see. Or she could be going straight for a Symbol of Rage, actually, which definitely would be very, very useful. So we will just have to wait and see what she decides to go for. But speaking of AoE damage from the Hellborn side, we saw how big that was last time. Frostfield Plate now finished on Hellbringer as well. That's going to be huge. Slither, he's got his Firebrand now, so of course working on the Geometer's Bane, as always, a very good and solid pickup. The Void Talismans now on this Hellborn side, no doubt those are causing a lot of trouble for Arachna, this Legion team. You know she's trying to focus fire them down in those team fights, which thus resulted in these pickups, and really it's kind of limiting her targets in terms of who she can attack. So I'm sure that's been causing issues right there. Speaking of more pickups, Morax is actually picking up a Sword of the High, so clearly going for a Mock of Brilliance at this point. For him, as we said earlier, a lot of AoE damage, and he's looking to get in the midst of those team fights. You can argue definitely it's kind of later on in the game to a point where it might not be all too worth it at this point, but still a very, very worthy item, and definitely brings a lot of AoE damage to the table. So something tells me we're going to have one last epic team fight here. I mean, just the feeling of how this game is right now. The Hellborn's base is exposed, so obviously if they lose a team fight, they're going to get pushed in and maybe lose some racks. And even though the secondary towers are up for the Legion team, if they get cleaned up, I'm pretty sure this Hellborn side can clean it up pretty fast. So this is really going to be an interesting finish here. The token of life, still 4+ minutes left on Madman. So of course MSI, they're going to keep that in mind and look to use that when they can.
Yeah. I don't know if you mentioned Shrunken Head is actually finished on Madman now, so it'll give him a little more leeway to kind of make his rounds during these team fights, as the Legion team is trying to protect what is theirs in these ancient neutrals. So we might see actually some initiation here as Madman goes in on Pharaoh. Pharaoh trying to put the mummy walls up. Now Meraxis is frozen easily, cut out, using the ultimate blow to him immediately, but he gets taken out. And now we're going to see Pharaoh try to make his way out of there. He should be successful in doing so, but Andromeda may be getting caught. The Entangle was put on him. Malphus going around trying to scout it out a little bit, and Andromeda is basically left for dead there. The Smackdown is going to come out for Fresh Pro, and now down basically 3 against 5, 2 against 5 if you don't, I don't know how much we're really going to be able to see Voodoo Jester do in this next team fight, despite having to stab the Master. I mean, is he going to have the survivability to make it last? And not to mention, Fresh Pro still has that token of life. This probably is going to be the last little push effort that we see here from MSI, unless we see something absolutely amazing happen from INFS.
Yeah, I mean, again, props INFS. They really did have a point. They really did have this game, honestly, to an extent. That first Conger kill, though, that's really what did this game. Now, when you think back at it and kind of see where things went wrong, that first Conger kill, having that token of life on Madman, thus resulting in the quad kill in that team fight after resurrecting, and just allowing for the comeback here at this top lane, ultimately what really swayed it in favor of Fnatic MSI. And despite a good fight down here at the bottom lane from INFS, where they came out on top, they got a decent push going. Then there was, of course, the complete group up right here, and that proved to be favored for MSI with the Hellbringer Life Void on top of his Malphus and just a lot of spread damage coming out. Just too much to handle for the Legion team. So they do lose their middle, and again, they still have Madman to worry about, who still has a token of life, and currently another 2,500 gold saved up himself. Speaking of that, Arachna, did she buy something else? No, she has not bought anything else yet, at least. It could be something on Courier, I guess. And, in fact, it is going to be a similar rage. So going the similar rage route, I like it. I mean, she's definitely needed to take that damage and to survive as much as possible. So going to be picking that up as soon as possible. And that'll be a nice addition, but it's hard to say if it's enough. I mean, when it comes to team fights, I think we've seen a couple times now, if it comes to a 5vs5 big team fight, MSI, they should and probably will have the advantage. But, you know, INFS, if they can somehow catch them off guard and pick off one by one, then of course they can make something of that. They try to maybe pick off Slither over here, but the wards are just too much, spamming them and spotting them incoming, so they fall back themselves. In fact, Madman, he wants to go in right here. He goes through the woods. He's going to chase his Voodoo Jesters all by himself. He throws out the acid cocktail, puts up the curse. A nice swan from Andromeda right there, actually catching Madman in a somewhat of a bad spot. He activates the Chuck Head immediately, and here we go with the initiation. Look at all that AoE damage. Madman may be going down here, but he turns around and crits Meraxes. He ends up going down, but again, the resurrection puts him right back up. And Legion team is falling back right now, just going to try to get some regeneration going, where Madman is busy chasing. He's going to take out Voodoo Jester, and I wouldn't be surprised if they make their way now towards the bottom lane and look to clean up the tower down here. So this could be the beginning of the end right now in favor of Fnatic MSI, and it looks like they are going to be the victorious team here for the finals of this Game Replay second tournament. But INFS, like I said earlier, no doubt going to be a team to look out for, a respected team now. And now that we really know what they're about, look forward to seeing more of them in the future and seeing what they can accomplish. But MSI, back-to-back weeks now, they take the first two Game Replay tournaments here in the qualification phase. So again, it's a 5 qualification tournament phase. At the end, the top 8 teams, according to their point system, move on to the finals tournament, where they have the chance to compete for $3,000. So the MSI also does get a bonus of $100 for winning this individual tournament. So that's a nice little feature. $20 for each player. Nothing huge by any means, but hey, it's money for playing some games. I'm sure everyone would love that. But yeah, just a matter of time now before it's over, unfortunately. But a hell of a game by NFS. Really was entertaining.
Yeah, definitely. I gotta be honest, they stood more toe-to-toe with MSI than any other competitor that we've seen in an actual game recently. Even with the likes of EG and some of the other well-known teams, Wallin, who we watched last week, and they just did what they needed to do, and it worked. And another thing, why I think we're going to be seeing a lot more Diminished Shaman is, late in the game, minus armor is king. Once you have your carry farmed, you have somebody like Madman who does absurd amounts of damage. That minus armor buff from Diminished Shaman, I believe it stacks up to like minus 20 armor. I mean, that is what is it, minus 24?
Yeah, 24 seconds, and it stacks minus 1 per second.
24 seconds, okay, yeah. So, I mean, and the fact that it's only got a 40-second cooldown, that just enables you to either have your team super buff or the enemy team super weak, and or you could get both, everybody in one fell swoop if you're lucky enough. But that minus armor is just so ridiculous, and we just saw. I mean, the only people who can really stand up to it are Arachna and really Pharaoh, because of Pharaoh's he does have some escapability, but yeah, that minus armor is just kicking their butts over there on INFS side. But very good game, very impressive game from a team that no one really knew too much about.
And well, INFS, despite the situation, they're going to try to give it one last go here as you see them grouping up and pushing the middle lane now. Of course, Fnatic MSI playing a fairly defensive here. Slither has that token of life. By the way, he picked up, and bananas were picked up on Madman, who also finished his symbol of rage. So, yeah, clearly MSI should be able to withstand this. But, again, INFS, they're trying it. Why the hell not? One last stand here. We'll see what they can make happen. Andromeda with the stop on Madman. He immediately runs away, though. There goes the Slither ultimate coming off on top of the Malphus. And now the Shrunken Head's activated. A lifesteal from Madman is so much. He's not taking any damage whatsoever. And everyone in the Legion side just gets annihilated right there. There's the GG's. It's going to be a concede victory here for Fnatic MSI. And again, they are the Game Replay 2 tournament champions. So congratulations, back-to-back weeks now. Definitely on top in the Han competitive scene. But INFS, look out for this team in the future. Not only in the Game Replay series, but many other tournaments, I'm sure. As long as they stick together, definitely a team to look out for and with a lot of potential. So really excited about that. But as far as casting today, we've pretty much wrapped it up all throughout the last couple of minutes there. So not too much else to say. But I was Breaky CPK, Shout Casting Ghost. Joining me was Phil the Thrill, the Honcast staff. And as always, stay tuned to Honcast.com for much, much more coverage. Also, fileplay.net/channel/Honcast. You can find all our VODs there as well as updates and one-offs. Add us on Facebook and Twitter, guys, at Honcast. Thanks for tuning in. That's going to do it. Tune in for the daily cast, 1 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. CET, every Monday through Thursday. Out for the night. Later.